When you are looking for an honest opinion, when you really want help, you're going to go to a person who is not afraid to tell you the truth. And while you know who the people are that you can go to when you want to be stroked, or when you want to be made to feel better, when you need help, and you need an honest, straightforward, truthful answer, you'll respect strength, not weakness. Weakness is saying the thing that makes somebody else feel good. Strength is operating from integrity, from authenticity, from honesty. And people respect that. I know in my own life when I really want to know what it is that I can do to improve something, I know that my wife isn't afraid to tell me that. There's a lot of people who are. There are people who work for me who don't want to tell me that, who are going to tell me the things that are going to make me feel good and make them look good and so on. But I know that my wife, Marcy, will not be afraid to tell me, this is what you have to do, or this is what's missing, or this. And sometimes I don't even like it. And sometimes I rail against it. But I always go to her when I want help or when I want assistance, because I know that she's not afraid to tell me the truth. Operating from strength really means operating from effectiveness in your life. It's almost like you have to develop a code of non-victim ethics for yourself that says, I am a valuable, important, significant, divine creation. I am here for a very short time. While I'm here in form, in the physical body that I'm in, I am entitled to fulfill the purpose or the destiny that I have been assigned while I'm here. I believe in that I'm here for a purpose. And I'm going to get my life on that purpose. And anyone or anything that gets in the way of that, as long as I can behave towards them in a moral and just and honest way, I can say to myself in my moral code of ethics, you do not have a right to interfere. No one has a right to interfere with anyone else's right to live their life the way they want to. No one. As long as you're not hurting anybody else in the process of operating from strength, as long as you're not interfering with somebody else's right to do the same, then whatever it is that you're doing is perfectly all right. You have to be what I think of as quietly effective. And the way that you are quietly effective is you do not teach people not to victimize you with words. Let me emphasize that. Words are not the tools of the quietly effective person operating from strength. It is behavior that counts. You teach people with your behavior how you want to be treated. And here we are, trying to pull our own strings and be our own person, and talking endlessly and ceaselessly and having these arguments and discussions, and it still goes on and it still goes on, and you still find yourself the victim, and you still find yourself picking up after others or not being respected or whatever it may be. There's an old saying, it's one of the secrets of the universe. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. And not one moment before. Doing is what teaches people how to understand you. So it is in the process of doing, when someone behaves towards you in a way that is to victimize you, and this is true of virtually everything. Somebody who is yelling and screaming at you, and whether it's your husband or your wife or one of your children or a clerk or whatever, and if you stand there and scream back, it's just words against words, and it doesn't mean anything. But if you leave quietly, leave the room and go into another room, you're sending a signal. I am too dignified and too valuable and too important a person. I think too much of myself to stand here or sit here and take that kind of abuse. So I will be leaving. And you don't have to say those words, you just do it. And in every single expression wherein you are victimized through conversation or through words, there is a way to teach people with your behavior that you are a person who operates from strength rather than weakness. The Queen of England, the President of the United States, the generals that are in the armed forces, the doctors who serve you, the very rich people who live in the fancy homes in the suburbs, the entertainers, the sports stars, all of these people, whoever they are, the movie stars, whoever these people are, they are no different than you. That's one of the great lessons I learned when I toured the country many years ago for this book and for Your Erroneous Zones, and met appearing on The Tonight Show many times, and then Dinah Shore Show and John Davidson, and all of these shows that were very, very popular at that time. And I met so many of the top stars in music and in entertainment and sports and the recording industry, and it was always interesting to me that none of them, these were the people that were your heroes. None of them were any better than I was. I remember what President Carter said when he was running for office, and they asked him if he thought he was qualified to run for president. He said, well, I really never thought I was until I met all the other people who were running, and then I felt I was just as qualified as they were. And that's always the effect that it has on me when I meet somebody who's in this high position of authority, and I meet them and I talk with them and I find out that they have the same difficulties and the same foibles and the same problems and the same pimples and the little blemishes, and they smell bad too when they wake up in the morning, and they're not any better or different than any of the rest of us. You are human. You are connected to all the rest of us through that invisible intelligence that runs through all form in the universe. And you are just as valuable, and in God's eyes, no one is any better than anyone else. Know that, and know that it's not only true in God's eyes, but it's true in your eyes as well.
There comes a moment in every life when the noise begins to fall away, when the chasing, the proving, the pleasing, the reaching outside of ourselves begins to exhaust its own illusion. In that holy pause, when we are finally still enough to hear what's been whispering beneath the surface of all our striving, a truth arises not as a thought but as a knowing, that love is not something you are here to get. It is not something you must earn, chase, convince, or beg for. It is not an external prize handed out to the worthy, nor a transaction to be negotiated with your achievements. It is the breath of your being, the truth of your soul, the presence of what you already are. You were born as love, wrapped in skin, and yet somewhere along the journey in the tangled forests of fear, in the systems that measured value and performance, in the wounds we mistook as identity, we began to forget. We began to believe the great lie, that love is somewhere else, that it is found in others, given only when we're good enough, quiet enough, successful enough, broken enough to be rescued. We traded our essence for approval, we bartered with our worth, and in doing so, we left home without ever leaving the room. But the soul has a memory no story can erase. Deep within you, beyond your name and history and scars, lives an untouched field, vast, timeless, unshakable. This is not the place you go to seek love. It is the place where love already lives. It is what you return to when you stop trying to become what you already are. You don't need to find love, you need to remember it. There is no relationship that can complete what is already whole. There is no amount of affection or validation that can replace the sacred task of reclaiming your true self. When you think love is something outside of you, you will forever be a seeker. But when you awaken to the truth that you are the source, the wellspring, the very expression of love itself, you become not a seeker but a giver. And in giving, you receive. In being, you remember. All spiritual journeys lead us back to this, not to a new belief, but to an inner recognition, to the holy realization that the divine is not just around you, it is within you, as you, and that divine essence is love. Not sentiment, not attachment, not romance dressed in expectation, but the deep, ever-present, unconditional presence of being itself. Love is what happens when the ego falls silent. The ego says you must earn it. Love says you already are it. The ego says you are unworthy until proven otherwise. Love says, you are sacred simply by existing. The ego seeks to possess, to control, to prove. Love seeks nothing, it simply radiates. And like the sun, it doesn't withhold its light depending on who steps into its warmth. You were never born to be a collector of love, you were born to be a generator of it. Not because the world told you to, but because it is your nature. You don't ask the rose to justify its fragrance, or the ocean to explain its depth. Why then do you believe you must justify your love? Why must you prove your lovability? What story convinced you that your essence needs permission? The answer is simple. You were taught to forget, but today you are remembering. Today you are shedding the costumes of not enoughness. Today you are peeling away the layers of performance, achievement, and fear, and standing naked in the light of truth. The truth that what you were searching for was never gone. It was just buried beneath beliefs that were never yours. You cannot become what you already are. You can only remove what blocks it. So remove it, gently, patiently, unapologetically. Let the layers fall like autumn leaves. Let the masks crumble. Let the false identities dissolve in the warm waters of your own awareness. Every time you release a belief that says you are not love, you make room for the truth to breathe again. And what is the truth? That you are the presence behind the eyes, the silence beneath the noise, the stillness under the storm. You are not the wounds you carry, you are the awareness that sees them with compassion. You are not the body, you are the light animating it. You are not the thoughts, you are the space in which they come and go. And that space, that presence, that essence is love. Real love has no opposite. It is not dependent on reciprocation. It does not rise or fall with circumstance. It is the fabric of the now. It is not something you fall into, it is what rises within you when you fall out of illusion. The ancient mystics knew this. Rumi called it a flame that burns inside you. Jesus spoke of it as the kingdom within. Buddha pointed to the end of suffering through awareness and compassion. They all said the same thing in different words. The treasure is within. And so the question is not, where do I find love? The real question is, what within me is resisting what I already am? The resistance is subtle, but it is there in every moment you diminish your worth, in every thought that tells you love must be earned, in every habit of seeking approval from those who cannot even approve of themselves. It is in the way you speak to yourself when you are alone. It is in the way you compare, compete, and strive to belong to what is not even real. But love does not ask you to fix yourself. It does not demand that you become perfect before it arrives. It only asks that you remove what is not true, that you stop confusing protection with presence, that you stop confusing performance with connection, that you stop confusing fear with love. You are not here to chase love, you are here to return to it. It was never about becoming worthy, it was about remembering that you always were. What if today you stopped trying to be lovable and simply allowed yourself to be love? Not love as sentiment, but love as stillness, love as presence, love as deep breath, open hand, and unshakable compassion. Love is the space that lets others be exactly who they are without needing to change them to feel safe. Love is the courage to be vulnerable when your instinct is to protect. Love is the forgiveness that sets you free, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Because when you forgive, you reclaim your peace. When you let go of resentment, you take back your power. When you choose love in the face of fear, you choose alignment with your true self. And your true self is not weak, it is not small, it is not needy. It is the mountain beneath the weather, the sky behind the clouds, the river that flows no matter who tries to dam it. Love is the essence of your being, and nothing can subtract from it, only your belief can veil it. And this is the great spiritual paradox. The moment you stop needing love from the world, you begin radiating it into the world. And in that radiance, the world responds not because you are finally good enough, but because you have become a mirror of what is real. There is no force more magnetic than authenticity, no presence more healing than someone who has remembered who they truly are. To love yourself is not vanity, it is sanity. It is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is not superiority, it is sovereignty. It is to stand in the mirror and say, not I am better, but I am whole. It is to walk into a room not asking, will they love me, but radiating the knowing that I bring love with me. You cannot pour from a cup that is forever empty. So stop handing your cup to others, begging them to fill what only your own soul can offer. The world cannot give you what you refuse to see within. No amount of applause, attention, or affection will substitute for the sacred task of falling in love with your own soul. Not the ego, not the personality, but the soul. The soul that has watched you grow, fail, rise, and fall, and loved you through it all. The soul that whispered in the darkness, keep going. The soul that never asked you to be anything but exactly who you are. You are not here to be lovable, you are here to be loved. And that love is not passive, it is not timid, it is not weak, it is fierce, it is forgiving, it is liberating. It is the kind of love that doesn't need a reason to exist, because its existence is reason enough. When you begin to live from that place, everything changes. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become freer. The opinions of others begin to lose their grip. The past loses its chains. The future loses its pressure. And the present becomes enough. Because love doesn't need a different moment to shine. It only needs your permission to show up now. In this breath, in this moment, in this choice. And this is the greatest power you will ever know. The power to love without condition, without exception, and without delay. Not because the world made it easy, but because your soul made it necessary. The most courageous act is not to change the world, it is to refuse to let the world change the truth of who you are. And who you are is love. You are the temple and the light within it. You are the seeker and the sought. You are the question and the answer. And when you finally stop looking for love, you begin seeing it everywhere, in the eyes of a stranger, in the warmth of the sun, in the silence of your own breath. You begin to realize that you were never missing anything, only misplacing your attention. You were never incomplete, only convinced you were. You were never separate, only asleep to your unity. And now you are waking up, not becoming something new, but unbecoming everything false. You are not a person looking for love. You are the love that life has taken the shape of. And this love, your love, is not a currency to be traded. It is not a trophy to be won. It is not a role to be played. It is your birthright. Your name may change. Your roles may shift. Your body may age. But this truth will never change. Love is what you are. And when the mind quiets and the ego softens and the heart opens, you will know you never had to earn it. You only had to allow it. And when you allow it, truly allow it, you become something the world cannot define. You become presence without pretense, power without force, joy without condition. You become untouchable by the lesser illusions of fear, not because you escape the human experience, but because you remember the divine truth within it. You no longer need to be right, to win, to impress, to fix, to chase, because love has no agenda. Love just is. It is not concerned with being recognized, validated, or rewarded. It is content in its own existence, like a flame that doesn't need applause to burn. And when you live from that space, you carry a light that cannot be extinguished by rejection, betrayal, or silence. Because the light does not depend on the world's switch, it shines from within you. And this, dear soul, is where your freedom begins. In choosing to be loved even when no one else remembers what that means. In choosing to respond with grace even when others forget their own. In choosing to stand as peace even when the world trembles in fear. You are not here to get love from people, you are here to bring love to people. You are not here to find the perfect partner, you are here to become the one who loves without needing to possess. You are not here to fix the broken, you are here to see the wholeness beneath the wounds. You are not here to gather approval. You are here to approve of yourself so fully that others begin to remember how to do the same. When you love from the soul, there is no lack. There is no fear of not having enough to give, because the soul doesn't give love like a commodity. It radiates it like a sun, unconcerned with how many bask in its light, unattached to whether others understand. It simply shines. And you were born to shine, not for praise, not for recognition, not even for purpose, but because it is your nature. And anything that denies that radiance, be it a thought, a story, a belief, is not your truth. It is a program, a misinterpretation, a moment of forgetfulness. So remember now, remember who you are beneath the noise, beneath the wounds, beneath the stories handed to you by a world that profits from your disconnection. You are not a stranger to love. You are not separate from it. You are its vessel, its voice, its expression. You are love, dressed as a human for a little while. And what a sacred costume it is. Your body temporary, your mind evolving, your roles shifting, but your essence eternal. And that essence is not lonely. It is not insecure. It is not lacking. It is vast. It is complete. It is radiant. And it has been waiting patiently for you to stop seeking what cannot be found outside yourself. The moment you stop waiting to be loved is the moment you stop delaying your awakening. You do not need to earn the right to be what you already are. You do not need someone else to love you before you allow yourself to love you. You do not need permission to embody the truth of your soul. You only need willingness. The willingness to look inward, to feel fully, to trust the quiet wisdom that whispers, you are already home. And when you begin to trust that voice, when you allow it to guide your choices, your presence, your words, you become a sanctuary, a walking temple, a place where others can rest without judgment, where pain can dissolve in presence, where fear can melt in the warmth of unconditionality. You become an invitation not for people to love you, but to remember that they are loved too. Because the world does not need more people seeking love. It needs more people being it, being the hand that reaches out without agenda, being the smile that sees beyond the mask, being the stillness that doesn't rush to fix, but knows how to hold. This is the path of true power, not domination, not control, not status, but presence. A love so rooted in the divine that it does not waver with circumstance. A love that flows through you, not because you try to create it, but because you finally stop blocking it. Let the blocks dissolve. Let the fear be felt and released. Let the old stories fall away like clothes that no longer fit the being you have become. You are not broken, you are buried beneath years of pretending, performing, pleasing, beneath guilt and shame and not enoughness. But the soul is untouched. The soul cannot be broken. It can only be forgotten. And in this moment, you are remembering. You are remembering the sacred truth that has always lived in the quiet center of your being. The truth that nothing needs to be added to you, only revealed. That what you are is not a construction, but a discovery. And what you are, in your most unguarded, unconditioned form, is love. You are not the love you were taught. You are not the love you were withheld. You are not the love you were told must be earned through silence, sacrifice, or suffering. You are the love that existed before those conditions were introduced. The love that was present before anyone ever told you what you had to become. Breathe into that, not as a concept, but as a returning. Close your eyes, if only inwardly, and feel it. That deep, formless presence that does not need definition, that does not ask you to strive, that does not shift with approval or disappear when you feel alone. Feel that stillness, that space, that gentle, expansive awareness that watches it all, the thoughts, the emotions, the patterns, but is not bound by them. That is you. That is your home. That is love. And the more you return to it, the less you need the world to mirror it for you, the less you need people to show up in ways they never learned, the less you rely on conditions being just right in order to feel peace. Because you have anchored your worth in what is unshakable, in what cannot be taken, in what is yours by nature, not negotiation. This is the deepest healing, when you stop asking for love and begin embodying it. When you stop seeking peace and realize you are the one who brings it. When you stop waiting for someone to see you and begin looking at yourself with the eyes of the divine. You are not here to convince others of your value. You are here to remember that your value is intrinsic and to live accordingly. You are here to release the identity built on what others failed to give you. You are here to shed the weight of proving, of pleasing, of pretending. You are here to walk as a soul, not as a mask. You are here to be what you came from, not the fear of it, but the fullness of it. The great spiritual teachers all pointed to this. They didn't ask us to become something different. They asked us to remember what was already true. When Jesus said, "You are the light of the world," he wasn't asking you to earn your light, he was reminding you of it. When Rumi wrote, "You were born with wings, why prefer to crawl through life?" He wasn't asking you to grow wings, he was reminding you that you already had them. When the Buddha said, "Peace comes from within, do not seek it without," he wasn't denying the beauty of the world. He was pointing to the source of your power. And your power, dear soul, has never been in getting love. It has always been in knowing that you are love, and that when you live from that knowing, your very presence becomes transformational. Not because you fix others, but because you no longer abandon yourself. Not because you get everything you want, but because you finally stop betraying what you are. This is the highest expression of love, not needing, not clinging, not changing anyone to feel safe, but being a space where truth can breathe, where your soul can rest, where your heart can stay open even when it would be easier to close. This does not mean you become passive. It does not mean you allow harm or stay silent in the face of untruth. Real love is not weak. It is the greatest force on earth. It forgives, but it also protects. It accepts, but it also speaks with clarity. It surrenders, but it never forgets its value. To be love is not to be small, it is to be vast. To be love is not to be silent, it is to speak from presence, not fear. To be love is not to be less, it is to be whole. And when you live from wholeness, everything changes, not always outside, but always within. You begin to live aligned with your soul's knowing, aligned with what is real, aligned with a peace that cannot be explained, only experienced. And that experience begins right now. Not tomorrow, not when you have it all figured out, not when others change, but here, in this sacred moment of awareness, in this breath, in this choice to believe in the deeper truth rather than the louder story. You are love. And that is not poetic fluff. That is the most radical, revolutionary, spiritual statement you will ever claim. Because when you know that not just intellectually, but viscerally you are free. Free from needing the world to be different. Free from waiting on someone else to tell you what you already know. Free from the lie that you must chase what you already are. This is not about self-help. This is about soul remembrance. This is not about improving yourself to become lovable. This is about remembering that your soul was carved from love itself, and that no amount of forgetting can change its shape. You are not missing anything. You are simply rediscovering everything. And as you rediscover everything, not through force, but through surrender, you begin to move through life differently. Not as someone in search of completion, but as one who walks already whole. You are no longer a beggar for affection, you are the source of warmth. You are no longer trapped in a cycle of proving. You are anchored in truth. You no longer shrink in the face of rejection because you have stopped rejecting yourself. This is what happens when you come home to love, not love as a transaction, but love as your truth. Love as stillness that listens instead of defending. Love as clarity that speaks instead of blaming. Love as presence that holds instead of fixing. Love as boundaries born not of anger, but of respect for the divine within you. Because being loved does not mean you accept anything less than what honors your spirit. It means you no longer dishonor yourself in order to be accepted. You begin to see that love has never been about what you get, but about what you give, not because you are empty, but because you are full. And from that fullness, you offer kindness without expectation. You offer compassion without control. You offer your presence without performance. You give not to get, but because giving is the natural expression of what you are. When a flower blooms, it does not demand the sun to thank it. When the ocean moves, it does not ask the shore to approve. And when you love, truly love, you do not need others to reflect it back in order for it to be real. It is real because it flows from within you. And what flows from within cannot be taken from without. Let that truth sink in. Let it melt the parts of you that still believe you are waiting for someone or something to finally prove you are enough. You are not waiting for love, you are waking up to it. It's been here all along. It was there in the tears that softened your heart. It was there in the silence that followed heartbreak. It was there in the emptiness that made room for truth. And it is here now in this very breath inviting you to stop resisting your own radiance. You are love, not in metaphor, but in essence. And that love is not a decoration, it is your foundation. It is not an emotion that comes and goes, it is the unchanging backdrop upon which all experience unfolds. Emotions are clouds, stories are weather, but love is the sky. And no matter what storms pass through you, the sky remains. When you stop identifying with the clouds, you remember the sky. And when you live as the sky, vast, open, unbothered, you begin to allow others the freedom to be what they are too. This is love in its purest form, the space that does not cling, the gaze that does not judge, the heart that holds without gripping. And when you offer that kind of space to the world, to yourself, you become a vessel for something far greater than personal gain. You become a lighthouse, a quiet radiance that doesn't chase ships, but simply stands, shining so others may remember their way home. Not by demanding they follow your path, but by living your truth so deeply that it awakens the truth in them. This is your sacred task, not to convince, not to convert, but to embody, to become the living proof that love is not something to be earned, it is what you are. That peace is not something you find, it's what you uncover when you stop hiding behind fear. That wholeness is not built, it is revealed. And all of it begins the moment you stop pretending to be someone you're not. The masks served their purpose. The roles helped you survive. The performance may have protected you once, but they are no longer needed. Now is the time for truth. Now is the time for shedding. Now is the time for returning. Not to something new, but to something ancient. To the you that existed before you were told you had to be someone else. To the you who knew how to love without fear. To the you who knew that being seen was not dangerous, but divine. And as you return, the world around you begins to shift. Not always in dramatic fashion, but subtly, gently, powerfully, because the energy you carry transforms the space you inhabit. And when that energy is rooted in love, real love, unconditional love, soul love, you don't just change your life. You become a permission slip for others to change theirs. Not by force, but by frequency. Not by pressure, but by presence. And it all begins by remembering that love is not something you get. It is what you are. And as you continue to awaken to this truth, not in flashes of insight, but in the quiet constancy of presence, you begin to shed the final remnants of the illusion that love is earned, the illusion that you are incomplete, the illusion that something or someone outside of you holds the key to your peace. You see it now, the chase was never necessary. The reaching was only ever a reflection of forgetting. There is nothing to add to yourself, because love is not a possession. It is not an achievement. It is not a badge you earn from enduring enough pain. It is your origin, your structure, your soundless center. You are love in human form, not trying to become anything, just trying to remember. And now you do remember. You remember not with the mind, but with the soul. Not with words, but with silence. Not with effort, but with surrender. You remember that you were born as a whole note in the divine symphony. That before the world taught you how to perform, how to protect, how to pretend, you were already radiating with the frequency of God, effortless, sacred light. You do not have to go looking anymore. Not for love, not for permission, not for yourself. The search ends here, not because you have found something, but because you have ceased to deny what was never missing. And in that stillness, you rise. You rise not through striving, but through shedding. You rise not by reaching higher, but by sinking deeper into presence, into truth, into the unmoving ground of what you are. And from this grounded place, love no longer feels like something you give. It feels like something you are. Something that walks with you. Not because you try, but because you allow it to walk unhidden. There is no more need to grasp or prove or explain. There is only the quiet revolution of being. Being who you were before you learned fear. Being what you are beneath every scar. Being the breath of the divine in motion, in form, in time. And in that being, in that sacred, unshakable knowing, you become the miracle. You become the one who forgives without forgetting your worth. The one who lets go without closing your heart. The one who can stand alone without feeling abandoned. The one who sees the pain in others without losing your light. You do not retreat, you radiate. You do not chase, you carry. You do not demand, you embody. You are no longer the seeker. You are the presence that was being sought. The temple is no longer hidden, the altar no longer buried. It has always been within you, and now you live there. And you will return there again and again. For the world may forget you, but you will not forget yourself. You will live not from memory, but from awareness. Not from survival, but from alignment. Not from fear, but from the frequency of love that needs no justification to exist. It simply is. And so are you. There is nothing to force, nothing to fix, nothing to prove. You are the sun that shines without permission. The flame that does not wait for wind. The river that flows even when no one sees. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be true to yourself. To walk in love when the path is unclear. To open your arms when the world closes its fists. To be the stillness in the storm, the breath in the breakdown, the grace in the grief. You are not here to save the world. You are here to stop abandoning your own soul. And in that devotion, in that unwavering return to presence, you become the greatest healing this world can know. You become a mirror of what we all are underneath the noise. Vessels of the same light, made of the same silence, shaped in different forms, but carved from the same sacred source. And when your heart beats from that place, from the knowing that you are not separate from love, but the embodiment of it, there is no longer anything to do. Just to be, just to live from the deep river within. Just to walk slowly, fully, generously, letting each step be a blessing, each breath a benediction, each word a vibration of something truer than thought. Let the world do what it does. Let people come and go. Let time pass like wind through an open hand. But you remain rooted in the one thing that never leaves. The one thing that cannot be destroyed, the one thing that was true before your first breath and will be true beyond your last. You are not waiting for love. You are not earning love. You are not lacking love. You are love. Undeniable, unmistakable, unconditional, unbound. And in this knowing, you are finally, eternally free. We find ourselves, each of us, standing at the threshold of an eternal truth. It is a truth that resonates within the deepest chambers of our soul, yet it is often clouded by the fog of distractions and the noise of the world. But within, in the silence of your being, there lies a power that is greater than any external force. It is the source, the divine energy, the essence of who you truly are. This source is not something that you must seek in the world outside, for it has always been within you. It is never lost, never distant, but ever present, waiting for you to recognize it. We live in a world that constantly tells us to search for answers, to look for meaning, to find fulfillment outside of ourselves. But here lies the paradox. Everything you need, everything you seek, is already within. You are not separate from the divine. You are an expression of it. You are not lost. You are only waiting to remember the truth of your being. This journey that we are all on is one of remembering. It is not about becoming someone different. It is about unearthing the essence that has always been within. The truth is, the divine intelligence that created the cosmos, that moves the stars, that breathes life into every living being, this same intelligence flows through you. It is the source of all things. You do not need to look outside for validation, for approval, or for answers. You are the answer. We are conditioned to believe that happiness, peace, and success must be found in external circumstances. We are taught to seek approval, to find security in possessions, relationships, or status, but these are fleeting, transient things. They come and go. They are but shadows of the true source that resides within you. When you begin to recognize that you are not the sum of your possessions or the validation of others, you awaken to the truth that you are the source. You are a divine being with unlimited potential. Understand this. Your mind, in its vast power, is a tool to connect to this source. It is not the source itself, but it is the gateway to it. Your thoughts shape your reality, but they also create the illusion of separation. When you allow your thoughts to guide you back to your true essence, you transcend the limitations of the mind. You become more than the story you tell yourself. You become the truth of your being. What would happen if you stopped searching for answers outside yourself? What if you trusted that the divine intelligence that created you is the same force that guides you every moment of your life? What if you began to believe that you are not a passive observer in the world, but a powerful creator of your own experience? It is time to let go of the belief that you are limited. Let go of the idea that you are small, insignificant, or broken. You are not broken. You are whole. You are complete. You are the divine in human form. And the more you allow yourself to connect with this truth, the more you will experience life as it was meant to be, abundant, joyful, and full of limitless possibilities. But this requires a shift. It requires a change in perception. It requires you to let go of the beliefs, the conditioning, the fears, and the doubts that have been placed upon you by the world. It requires you to let go of the false story that you are separate from the divine, because you are not separate. You are one with it. You are the divine expressing itself in human form. The more you align yourself with this truth, the more you begin to live in harmony with the universe. You begin to move with the flow of life rather than against it. You begin to see that everything, every experience, every person you encounter is a reflection of your inner world. What you experience on the outside is a direct reflection of what is happening within you. And when you begin to heal within, you heal the world around you. Healing begins within. This is the foundation of all true transformation. You cannot change the world by changing the outside. You must change the inside. When you begin to heal your thoughts, your beliefs, and your perceptions, you will begin to see a different world. You will see a world filled with possibility, filled with love, and filled with divine abundance. But it starts within you. You have the power to choose your thoughts. You have the power to choose how you perceive the world. And when you choose to perceive it through the lens of love, of abundance, and of connection to the divine, you will experience the world in a completely different way. You will see that the source is always within, always guiding you, always supporting you, and always loving you. But this is a choice. It is a choice to stop looking outside yourself for answers. It is a choice to stop blaming the world or others for your circumstances. It is a choice to take responsibility for your life and to recognize that you are the creator of your own experience. The world will reflect back to you what you believe about yourself. If you believe that you are limited, that you are powerless, that you are not enough, then that is what you will experience. But if you choose to believe that you are the source of all things, that you are unlimited, that you are worthy of all the abundance the universe has to offer, then that is what you will create. You are the creator of your reality. And it all begins within. The source is always within. When you align yourself with this truth, you unlock the power to create a life that reflects the greatness of your soul. You unlock the power to heal, to grow, and to transform. You unlock the power to be the person you were always meant to be. You unlock the power to live in alignment with the divine. And as you step into this power, as you step into the truth of who you are, you will begin to see the world around you shift. People will begin to reflect back to you your inner truth. Opportunities will begin to appear in your life that align with your highest good. You will no longer feel the need to search for validation because you will know that you are already validated by the source within. You are enough. You have always been enough. The source has always been within you, and it is time for you to remember it. It is time to remember that you are a divine being, worthy of all the love, abundance, and peace that the universe has to offer. So I ask you now, will you choose to remember? Will you choose to embrace the truth of who you are? Will you choose to recognize that the source is always within and that you are the creator of your own reality? This is your invitation to step into your power. This is your invitation to remember the truth of your being. This is your invitation to awaken to the divine light that resides within you. The source is always within. And when you remember this truth, you will walk through the world as a shining example of the power of the divine. You will be a beacon of love, of light, of peace, and of infinite potential because you are the source. And the source is always within. As you begin to recognize that the source is within, there comes a profound realization you are not merely a fragment of the universe, but an expression of it. You are not a separate being wandering through the vast expanse of life, hoping to stumble upon meaning or purpose. You are the very essence of the divine unfolding in the world. Every breath you take is the breath of the universe. Every thought you think is a reflection of the infinite intelligence that moves through all things. You are a thread in the intricate tapestry of existence, and you are woven with the same divine energy that created the stars and the oceans. You were not born into this world to live in fear, to chase empty dreams, or to be confined by the limitations that others place upon you. No, you were born into this world to shine. You were born to be the full expression of your highest self, to align with the divine purpose that has always been guiding you. And that purpose is not found in the world outside of you, but in the depths of your own soul. It is time for you to recognize that the power you have been searching for has been within you all along. It is time for you to stop seeking validation, approval, or direction from others, and start listening to the whisper of your own soul. The mind will try to tell you otherwise. It will try to distract you, to lead you away from the truth of who you are. The world will tell you that you are not enough, that you must prove your worth, that you must conform to the expectations of society. But these are the voices of illusion, of separation. They are the voices that distract you from the truth that is eternally within you. And when you step beyond the noise of the world, you will hear the gentle, unwavering voice of your soul calling you home to the truth of who you are. The source does not require you to be perfect. It does not demand that you follow a set of rigid rules or conditions in order to earn its love or approval. The source is love itself, and it is not based on judgment or limitation. It is not something you must earn. It is something you must remember. Your worth is not determined by your accomplishments, your successes, or your failures. Your worth is inherent in your being because you are an expression of the divine. And no matter what has happened in your life, no matter what you have been through, that truth remains. You are worthy simply because you exist. You are worthy because you are part of the divine symphony of life. When you begin to release the need to prove yourself, when you stop chasing the fleeting rewards of the world, you make space for the infinite to flow through you. You become a vessel for the divine energy that is always present, always available, always guiding you. You begin to trust the flow of life, knowing that you are always being led toward your highest good. There is no need to force, no need to struggle, no need to fight for what is meant for you. It will come to you, not through your effort, but through your surrender. When you let go of control and allow the universe to work through you, you will find that everything you need is already in place. Trust is the key that unlocks the door to this inner power. Trust that the source knows what is best for you. Trust that the divine intelligence within you has a greater understanding than the limited perspective of your mind. When you trust in this divine guidance, you stop fighting against life. You stop resisting the natural flow of the universe, and instead, you begin to move in harmony with it. It is a dance, a fluid, graceful movement between you and the divine. When you trust, you let go of the illusion of control, and you step into the truth of your power. The source is always within, and it is guiding you every step of the way. And in this trust, there is peace. There is a deep sense of knowing that you are never alone. Even in moments of uncertainty or struggle, you can return to this inner knowing and find solace. The external world may shift and change, but your connection to the source remains unwavering. You are grounded in a power that is constant, that is unshakable, that is beyond time and space. And as you return to this knowing, you begin to live from a place of inner peace, no longer swayed by the external conditions of life. But even more than peace, there is a great joy that arises from living in alignment with the source. This joy is not the fleeting happiness that comes from external circumstances, but the deep, unshakable joy that comes from living in harmony with your true nature. It is the joy of knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. It is the joy of trusting that all things are working together for your good, even when you cannot see the full picture. It is the joy of being in flow with the universe, of being a conscious co-creator in the unfolding of your life. This joy arises naturally when you align with the source, because the source is not a force of fear or scarcity. It is a force of abundance, of love, of creativity. And when you tap into that flow, you begin to create in your life in a way that is effortless. You stop pushing and striving, and instead, you allow life to flow through you. You begin to see opportunities where there once were obstacles. You begin to see solutions where there once were problems. You begin to see the beauty in every moment, the grace in every experience, and the love in every person you meet. But this is not a destination. This is a way of being. It is not something you reach and then stop. It is a continuous unfolding of the divine within you. Each moment is an opportunity to reconnect with the source. Each breath you take is an invitation to return to the truth of who you are. It is a daily practice, a conscious choice to live in alignment with the divine energy that flows through you. And the more you make this choice, the more you will experience the richness of life, the deeper the connection to your true self, and the greater the peace, love, and joy that fills your heart. The source is always within, and it is never far away. It is not hidden in some distant corner of the universe, but right here, right now, within you. You need not search for it. You need not strive to attain it. All you must do is remember it. All you must do is reconnect with the truth that has always been within you. And when you do, you will find that life is not something that happens to you, but something that you create. You are the creator, and the source is the power that flows through you. Together, you will create a life that is filled with love, peace, and infinite possibility. So let go of the old stories. Let go of the beliefs that have held you back. Let go of the fear that has kept you small, and step into the truth of who you are. Step into the divine flow of the source and allow it to guide you to the life you were always meant to live. For the source is always within, and when you remember this truth, nothing can stand in your way. As you begin to let go of the old ways, there comes a moment when the veil begins to lift. In the silence of your being, you hear a whisper, soft at first, but growing louder as you pay attention. This is the voice of your soul, the voice of the source within you. It is always there, guiding you, calling you back to your truth. But for so long, you may have been distracted by the noise of the world, the demands of others, and the constant pull of the material. Now, as you awaken to this deeper truth, you find that the voice of your soul becomes clearer. It speaks of love, of peace, of your inherent worth. It speaks of your divine purpose, which was never lost, but only waiting to be discovered. The source within you does not come with conditions. It is not bound by time or circumstance. It is unconditional love, unconditional power, and it is ever present. It does not judge you for your mistakes, your missteps, or your perceived imperfections. No, the source sees beyond the illusions of the ego. It sees you as you truly are, divine, infinite, and whole. And when you begin to recognize this, you stop striving for external validation. You stop searching for approval, for the things that others may think of you. You begin to understand that your worth is not determined by what the world says you should be, but by the eternal truth that resides within you. This is where true freedom begins. True freedom is not found in the pursuit of worldly success, possessions, or fame. It is not found in the opinions of others, nor in the praise that may come from external sources. True freedom is found in the recognition that you are already free. You are free because you are not bound by the past, nor by the future. You are free because you are not bound by fear, doubt, or limitation. You are free because the source within you is the essence of boundless potential. It cannot be contained, controlled, or constrained. It is the infinite expression of the divine, and you are part of it. As you begin to walk more fully in alignment with this truth, you will notice that the world around you begins to change. No longer do you see obstacles where once there were only barriers. Now you see opportunities where there were once challenges. You see love where there was once fear. You begin to understand that what happens to you is not as important as how you choose to respond to it. The world may shift and change, but your connection to the source within you remains unshakable. This is the power of inner peace. The world does not define you. You are not defined by your circumstances, your job, your relationships, or your past. You are not defined by your mistakes or your achievements. You are not defined by the roles you play in the world. You are defined by your connection to the source, and that connection is unchanging, unwavering, and eternal. And when you truly understand this, you stop identifying with the external labels. You stop believing that you are a small, fragile being trying to make sense of a chaotic world. Instead, you realize that you are the embodiment of the divine, and that is the most powerful truth you can ever know. As you continue to align with this truth, you begin to experience a profound shift in the way you relate to the world. You stop seeing yourself as separate from others. You begin to understand that all of us are expressions of the same source, interconnected, united by the divine energy that flows through all things. You are not separate from the person sitting next to you, or from the trees, the animals, or the stars above. You are not separate from the struggles or the joys of the world. You are part of it all. And this understanding brings with it a deep sense of compassion, of empathy, and of love. When you see others through the lens of this divine connection, you begin to realize that their struggles are your struggles, their triumphs are your triumphs. There is no competition, no comparison, no separation. There is only the recognition that we are all connected through the same source, and when one of us rises, we all rise. When one of us heals, we all heal. When one of us awakens, the world awakens with us. And so we no longer seek to take from others, but to give, to uplift, to support. We begin to see that true abundance comes not from hoarding, but from sharing, from giving, and from serving the greater good of all. This is the life that is available to you when you live in alignment with the source within. It is a life of peace, of love, and of limitless potential. It is a life of joy and gratitude. For you see that everything you need is already within you. You do not need to search for happiness or fulfillment in the world outside. You find it in the stillness of your own heart, in the awareness of your own divine nature. And as you do, you begin to realize that the source does not just reside within you, it is you. You are not separate from it. You are the very expression of it in the world. And in this realization, you find your power. Your power is not in control and manipulation. Your power is not in force or coercion. Your power is in your ability to align with the divine flow, to surrender to the guidance of your soul, and to trust in the infinite wisdom of the source within. This is the power that moves mountains, that heals hearts, that transforms lives. It is the power of creation, of love, of life itself. And it is available to you always, as soon as you choose to remember it. This power is your birthright. It is not something you must earn or strive for. It is not something that is reserved for a select few. It is available to all who are willing to step into the truth of who they are. And when you do, when you make the choice to remember the source within, you will find that life unfolds in ways that are beyond your wildest dreams. You will begin to experience miracles, synchronicities, and blessings in every moment. You will begin to see the world with new eyes, eyes that see the divine in all things. The source is always within, and when you connect with it, you realize that nothing in the world can stand in your way. You are a powerful being, capable of creating the life you desire. You are worthy of all the abundance, love, and joy that the universe has to offer. And when you begin to live from this place of inner knowing, you will find that the world begins to reflect back to you the truth of who you are. So I invite you now to take a deep breath, close your eyes, and feel the power of the source within you. Feel it rise up from the depths of your being, filling every cell, every fiber of your body with light, with love, with infinite possibility. Know that this power is always with you, always available to you, and that you are never alone. You are a divine being, and the source is always within. When you remember this, when you live from this truth, you will find that the world becomes a reflection of your inner light. You will create a life that is filled with love, abundance, and peace. You will experience miracles in every moment. You will be the creator of your own reality, and you will walk in the world as a shining example of the power of the divine. The source is always within, and it is time for you to remember that truth. As you stand at the threshold of your own soul, you come to realize the great secret. You are not bound by time, space, or circumstance. You are not a limited being, struggling to find your place in a chaotic world. No, you are a divine being, an eternal soul, part of the infinite tapestry of existence. And the source that birthed the stars, the oceans, the very breath that fills your lungs, this source lives within you. It has never left you. It has always been there, and it will always be there, no matter where you go or what you do. In the quiet of your heart, in the stillness of your mind, you begin to hear the voice of the divine. It speaks not in words, but in the deep knowing that arises from within. It is the whisper of your soul reminding you of who you truly are. You are the creator of your own reality. You are the expression of love, of peace, of divine power, and you hold within you the infinite capacity to heal, to grow, to expand, and to create. There is nothing that you cannot do when you remember the truth of your being. And so you stand fully awake, fully aware, fully empowered. You no longer need to search outside of yourself for the answers because you know that the answer has always been within. The power that you seek, the love, the joy, the abundance, it is already here. It is in the very fabric of your being. All you must do is open your heart and your mind to receive it. And as you receive it, as you open to the divine flow that is always present, you begin to understand that there is nothing to fear. There is no need to worry about the future or regret the past. The present moment is all that matters. In this moment, you are free. In this moment, you are whole. In this moment, you are connected to the source of all that is and all that will ever be. Your life is a reflection of the divine, unfolding before you, moment by moment. It is not something to be controlled or manipulated, but something to be experienced with grace, with trust, and with love. You are not separate from life, but one with it. You are not a passive observer, but an active participant in the great unfolding of the universe. You are a co-creator, a divine being, and the life you create is a testament to the infinite possibilities that reside within you. And now, in this moment, you are free. Free from the chains of the past, free from the limitations of the ego, free from the need to seek validation, approval, or permission. You are free to be who you truly are, a divine expression of the source, living a life of love, abundance, and peace. You are free to create the life that aligns with the deepest truth of your soul. The source is always within you, always guiding you, always loving you. It is time to trust it, to trust that every step you take is a step toward greater freedom, greater love, greater joy. You are not walking alone. The divine walks with you, within you, beside you. It is in every breath you take, in every thought you think, in every action you take. As you walk this path, know that you are always supported. Know that you are always loved. Know that you are always enough. You are not broken. You are whole. You are not lost. You are found. You are not searching for something outside yourself. You are remembering who you have always been. And so, in this moment, let go. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the fear that has held you captive. Let go of the past that no longer serves you. Let go of the stories that have kept you small. And step into the truth of who you are. Step into the divine light that shines within you. Step into the power that has always been yours, waiting for you to claim it. You are the source, and the source is always within you. In this truth, you are free. In this truth, you are whole. In this truth, you are love. You are light. You are divine. And as you remember this, you will find that the world around you begins to reflect this truth back to you in ways you never imagined. You will see beauty where there once was darkness. You will see love where there once was fear. You will see abundance where there once was lack. For as you connect with the source within you, you become the source. And the source is everything. So take a deep breath. Feel the truth of who you are. Feel the divine energy flowing through every cell, every fiber, every part of your being. Know that you are whole, you are complete, and you are free. The source is always within, and it is time for you to remember it. And when you remember, you will find that there is nothing to fear, nothing to prove, and nothing to hold you back. You are free. You are divine. You are the source. And so it is.